Okay, the second thing that I wanted to talk about today is audience. I think sometimes we're losing sight of how important audience is for rhetorical analysis and how an audience influences the rhetorical choices that an author makes. We change the way that we speak or the types of appeals that we employ based on the people that we are speaking to. There are certain audiences where you don't have to develop any sense of credibility because they're already going to view you as credible. Let's say that Trump goes and gives a speech to a rally of Trump supporters. He does not have to do anything to build his credibility in the eyes of those people. Whereas if he was giving a speech to a group of people who were not Trump supporters, he would have to add something about credibility into that speech. That's just one example, but it's an important thing. And I saw some instances in your essays where it seems like either you were not identifying the audience correctly or you were not taking them into consideration when you were doing your analysis. So I just want to talk about the audience in this particular piece, and I want you to keep the audience in mind moving forward when you're practicing for the exam. So, for this speech, it says in the beginning, she delivered the following speech before the convention of the National American Woman Suffrage Association in Philadelphia on July 22nd, 1905. So, the first and most common problem that I saw with audience in your body paragraphs is that a lot of you were using we or us. So, saying she does this to convince us. We were not alive on July 22nd, 1905. We are not the intended audience for this piece. We don't have child labor like this at this point in our country. So you have to look at her choices in terms of the people that she was speaking to. The other thing that is important about these people, not just that they were alive in 1905, is the fact that they are the National American Woman Suffrage Association. So they were political activists in 1905 who were fighting for women to have the right to vote. And she references that a few times within this speech. The speech was specifically designed to get them to take political action. Another issue that I saw is that some people were saying, like, she wants to get men involved. There's no mention of men in this speech, except at the bottom where she says that we should engage our working men, right? But she's not speaking directly to those working men. So if you're going to analyze that choice, you have to say that she wants to get these women, these female activists, to get the men involved, not that she is encouraging men and women to take care of the issue of child labor. There were also a few people who said that she wanted people to do the labor instead of the children. So that is also not supported in this letter. The audience that she's speaking to specifically are political activists. So what she wants them to do is use their political activism in order to make a change, not do work in the children's place. And they also don't have the power to change what's directly happening in the factories. That was another issue that I saw. It was like, and now the people in the factory will want to treat the children better. They don't have control over that. So you've got to keep the purpose aligned with the audience. So if they don't have that kind of sway or power, you can't talk about that. This would be a really different letter, I think, if she wasn't writing to an audience of women, but she was writing to the factory owners, right? In this time period, that probably would have been men. And so she would have had to have done something totally different rhetorically in order to reach a male audience like that versus an audience of women who are already interested in political activism and who are already attempting to make changes. And that's why it's important when she gets into this Georgia thing where she says if mothers and teachers in Georgia could vote, would the Georgia legislator have refused at every session for the last 3 years to stop the work, right? She is directly engaging the fact that these are people who want women to have the right to vote, and she is connecting that to the child labor cause. So just keep the audience in mind and make sure that you're not assigning roles to them that they don't have or features that they don't have, and that you're not generalizing to an us or a we unless it is a speech that is written for a modern audience.